New driver's licenses and IDs are rolling out in parts of Kentucky this month. Hear what's changing.
Temperatures started off on the freezing side this morning, and we have one more night of cool weather before a warming trend sets in. Your complete forecast is coming up. Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Training for good, high-paying jobs in eastern Kentucky is easier than you might think. Tonight on Issues and Answers, I'll talk with a group of ladies that are playing a fundamental role in laying the groundwork to get a workforce prepared. WYMT's Connor James has a preview of what you'll see.
It's no surprise.
We have an incredibly skilled workforce by nature.
What Kathy Walker, the founder and CEO of eCami, is doing is utilizing that workforce.
So they learn to set up and operate and program the CNC mills and lathes.
CNC jobs in simple terms means monitoring and programming the machines that produce parts from metal for a variety of industries.
Right. Well, our first priority is the dislocated workers.
This is where eCami comes in.
This high-tech machining is definitely suited for females as well.
A facility located in Paintsville that trains folks in CNC machining. It's a state-of-the-art facility. Now, unfortunately, CNC jobs mostly exist in other parts of the state.
She said if we build it, they'll come.
And come they are. Trish Adams, the industry liaison with EKSEP, says eCami's workforce has drawn the eyes of possible businesses.
eCami has already had companies looking at the area to locate here, to expand their operations here.
One from Canada.
It's going to be a big deal.
That's interested in the Perry County Industrial Park. It could bring 250 jobs.
These folks that go through Kathy's training facility will be the first that's hired.
And those interested in the training are given basically all the tools.
The only thing they have to bring is the motivation and a good attitude
to succeed. Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
60 people, including this upcoming class, will have graduated from the program at eCami. There are 3 eCami recruitment fairs coming up, and we have all that information on our website. Issues and Answers airs tonight at 7 o'clock. Some difficult news today on the job front in London. We learned Conduent is laying off nearly 100 people. Officials there say the cuts will take effect May 21st. In a statement, Conduent said it's part of their strategic transformation initiative. They said, quote, reductions in workforce are the toughest decisions employers must make, and we take this decision seriously. We will provide a separation package to all eligible employees. Coming up at 6, you'll hear about some new jobs coming to London.
Definitely a chilly start to the morning across southern and eastern Kentucky. However, plenty of sunshine today, just a little deceptively cool this afternoon and evening. Let's take a look outside right now at the National Weather Service office up in Jackson. You can see a fair amount of cloud cover, but still some sunshine breaking through in between the clouds, and you can see that mirrored on the satellite and radar. Just some high, thin clouds passing through the area right now. That's actually on the leading edge of some warmer air that's going to move into the mountains tomorrow, but before it gets here, one more night of pretty chilly temperatures. 50 right now, London, 49 here in the Hazard. You can see some of that warmer air building off to the southwest, though. 55 in Nashville, and that air will continue to lift off to the east and northeast through the overnight. Now, temperatures this morning down into the 20s. In fact, we tied a record set back in 1987 of 24 degrees at the National Weather Service office in Jackson. Freeze warning in effect for tomorrow morning for all the counties highlighted in purple. That is mainly the Kentucky River and Big Sandy River valleys, as those thermometers will dip down into the low 30s and upper 20s once again with just a few passing clouds. So one more night of some chilly weather, and then things begin to warm up quite nicely. We'll have more on that here in a few minutes, Steve.
All right, thank you, Shane. Very soon, drivers in 2 central Kentucky counties will be the first in the state to get their hands on the new driver's license. Our Victor Puente tells us which ones and when the rest of us could see the change.
The system for those new IDs is scheduled to be in place statewide in June. But for some counties in our viewing area, those new licenses may be available by the end of the month. Franklin and Woodford counties are set to be the first two counties in Kentucky getting those new driver's licenses. But the circuit clerk here in Fayette County tells me Lexington might be soon after.
Right now, we look like we're on schedule to have the Real ID rollout between the end of April and the month of June.
Those new IDs will bring Kentucky into compliance with the Real ID Act, which was passed in 2005. Under the new system, Kentuckians will have their choice of two different IDs, a standard one that allows you to drive and vote, and a voluntary travel ID that will allow you to fly out of airports and go into restricted federal facilities.
Extra documents they'll be needed for the voluntary travel ID, but again, if you're not going to travel, then it's really not necessary unless you choose to do so.
The rollout is expected to be finished statewide by the end of June. And if you have a current license, you don't need to run out and make the change the very first day they're introduced.
So there really is no reason or necessity to rush in when we get the new credential. I have mine in my pocket and it will remain there until next year.
Riggs says if you've already gotten a new driver's license this year, it'll only cost you $15 to upgrade to one of the new Real IDs. In Fayette County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Those new IDs will be manufactured out of state and mailed to drivers within 5 business days. You will receive a temporary ID until it arrives. As Kentucky heads toward the primary election, a University of Kentucky professor of law says the country would be better off if everyone was required to vote. Turnout for local elections, at least in Kentucky in 2015, was only about 30%. Professor Josh Douglas says if everyone was required to vote, it would be a better indication of what candidate is best for the job.
I think we'd have a much more informed electorate because people would take the time to learn about the candidates. Sure. You know, in Australia, where they have mandatory voting and turnout of 90–95%, there's no indication that the voters are less educated.
Tonight at 11, hear about ways some states are trying to at least improve voter turnout. Friends and family of a missing Richmond woman hope a reward will help bring in new information. Savannah Spurlock was last seen on January 4th, nearly 3 months ago. Organizers are offering a more than $10,000 reward to find Savannah. Police say Spurlock was seen leaving a Lexington bar with 3 men before going to a home in Garrett County. President Trump threatened to close the southern border this week, but White House officials say they have not looked at what that could mean for trade with Mexico. The president says he made the threat due to the influx of thousands of Central American migrants seeking asylum. Experts say a border closing could cost billions of dollars in trade.
A bilateral trading relationship with Mexico is between $550 and $600 billion a year. If you think you're going to stop that trade at the border, then you're looking at almost $2 billion a day that you're going to be losing in lost trade.
President Trump is expected to visit the southern border on Friday. During the weekend, the State Department took steps to cut off U.S. aid to El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. A partial bridge collapse in Chattanooga, Tennessee shut down a portion of Interstate 75. It is impacting people traveling north. A concrete railing fell where I-24 and I-75 split. State officials estimated that the highway could be closed for hours near the split. In 2017, Tennessee's Transportation Commissioner called the split the worst intersection in the state. It's unclear what caused that collapse. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, we'll tell you about the new push for parents and autism screening.
Temperatures have been on the cool side today, but guess what, my friends? There is a big-time warm-up heading our way by the end of the week. Check it out, 72 your high on Thursday. Temperature is going to be even warmer for the weekend. We're going to talk about what's going to cause the warm-up and how long it'll last after this.
Coming up tonight at 6, I'll introduce you to a Leslie County High School student who wants to share one big accomplishment.